Hello, everyone. This week I want to talk about non-flash lighting. So, some of the topics will be um, repeated from last week, but I wanted each one of these to be its own uh, individual talk. So, when you're not using flash, you have several other options you can use. The most obvious option is natural light. Now, if you're going to do that outdoors, then the best way to do that is to use some kind of umbrella to diffuse the light and prevent those harsh lines that you normally get with direct sunlight, for example. The other thing, of course, you can use is a reflector. Just like you can with a flash, you can use umbrellas to diffuse the light and reflectors to change the color of the lighting a bit. You don't have the same flexibility about changing more color as you would, for example, using a gel on a flash. Shooting indoors and you don't have natural light, you can always use table lamps. Again, you're going to want to put something around those table lamps to make that light be more diffuse so that your lighting is not as sharp. Your shadows are not as sharp as they would be normally. And of course, the third option is to use some other kind of light source. Now, I'm going to include fluorescent lights and those kinds of tubes, or any kind of color-changing bulb in the table lamp. So when I talk about these type of lights, we're going to be talking about LED lights. Now, LED lights, from the ones that I've used, have barn doors on them. Now, the barn door allows you to shape the light. You can open it up all the way so that all of the light falls over everything. Or, for example, if you're doing a headshot, you can do it in any kind of lit room. Then you can back off your settings so that everything appears dark. Adjust those barn doors so that the head and hair are in that light and nothing else. And then shoot the photograph so that you're seeing basically the head. If you wanted to do a special effect, it would look like the head's floating. But by opening the doors up a little bit, you can get the shoulders and things. And LED lighting has adjustments to it so that you can adjust the brightness of the light, but you can also adjust the color on most of them as well. So you can give it a more warm color to it than would normally occur. In addition to that, once you've got that set up, you have to remember that anytime you're using a tripod or you have a cable, you have to make sure that it's tucked away in such a way that somebody can't trip over it or knock it over, which for tripods is going to mean some kind of weighting. For me, the LED lights I use have battery packs on the back, so I don't have to worry about cabling for those. I have to worry about the cable for the charger, but not for the lights themselves. So that allows me to just worry about the tripods. Again, you got lights, you want to use lighting tripods for these. You don't want to use photographic tripods for them. Typically, a light, some lights have the ability to change, but the lighting stands themselves typically do not have a way of adjusting the angle of the light. It's a straight pole coming up. You don't have the same type of head that you have on a camera stand. And that's important because these may weigh more than the cameras do. And so you might start to get sag as the light gets aimed and you try to lock it into place, and now it's still continuing to move downward because of the weight of the light is more than what the stand would typically have. And so you want to make sure that that's taken care of. Now, one thing you can't do with these fixed lighting that you can do with flash is you can't get strobe effect, right? You can't get those interesting pictures that they make where the person's moving and they're constantly moving, but the only time you see them is when that flash goes off. So you get that stroboscopic effect on that. But using, for most things, a fixed light is going to be perfect. Take, for example, boudoir photography or any kind of portrait photography. As long as the light is there and it's not in the subject's eyes, you're not going to get that blink from the flash going off. You're not going to get that harsh light that hits them that then has to be, their eyes have to adjust to because it's going to go off. So by having the lighting in such a way that it's comfortable for them, these kind of fixed lights are perfect for that particular situation. It's also really good for doing things such as taking photographs of products, because you can use the barn doors to shape that light. You're not worried about a flash going off. You're not worried about having to deal with that flashback that you're going to get in your eye when it goes off. And you can shape the lighting such that your shadows fall away the way you want them to, right? If you've got a flash and you move while you're taking a photograph and the flash is fixed to the camera, which is usually never a good idea, your shadows are going to move with you. If your flashes are set up, you can adjust that a little bit more. But by having that light on all the time, when you go to take the photograph, the most important thing is you can see where the shadow is because it's there, right? You're not waiting for a flash to go off to show you where the shadows are going to fall. You can actually see where the shadows lie. So for me, my personal preference is to have some kind of fixed lighting. It could be natural lighting. And again, if you've got light coming in through a window, putting a light curtain over it, you can adjust the colors a little bit that way and still use that natural light coming in, but it diffuses the light. Just the same way as an umbrella would outside, having a sheet that an inexpensive sheet that you can just throw over the window, over a curtain rod or something to buffer that light, to make it less sharp on everything, give you that nice diffuse light. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and you don't have to go buy a lighting source. Downside naturally is if you're going to shoot with outdoor light, you have to have a day where you have outdoor light. So if you like to shoot with outdoor light and you grab yourself a couple of good LED lights, you can use those to supplement if you don't have that good outdoor light. To me, table lamps are never a great alternative for the simple fact that they're non-adjustable, right? I can't bring them up and down. I can't change the angle of them. They don't have barn doors on them either. So it's hard for me to shape the light around my subject with a table lamp. You can use them in a pinch, but you're better off if you can to get the LED lighting where you can adjust it from side to side. You can adjust the angle of the light hitting it. You can adjust it up and down. So you have all those possible parameters that you can adjust to get just the right photograph that you want to get. So that's what I got for you guys this week on accessories. We talked about having a fixed light, and I will talk to you all next week.